Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Miyuki and this is Let's Make Art, and you are here for our monthly Let's Make Art Matter. We are going to be doing this postcard for Haylee. So I'm going to show you and walk you through how to do this. This is our recipient for the January lettering subscription box. And if you're wondering what Let's Make Art Matter is, Let's Make Art Matter is a special thing that we do as a company together and bring our community along with us. So Haylee was nominated by her best friend, and we're gonna make this postcard for her. If you have our box, this is the one that is, it is pre-stamped, it already has her address, so all you have to do is you're just gonna make this with me. You can draw, you could write something else, you don't have to write the specific name, but maybe it's something that will encourage Haylee to know that she is loved. So I realize I need to explain her story. I kind of have to get in the mood to talk about these things because they're really hard for Sarah and I and Jesse now to read. But Haylee seems like an amazing girl. She's my age, I'm 30, and a couple years ago, her grandmother had dementia. She moved in with her, was super selfless. Then her grandfather got hit by a drunk driver and passed away immediately. And then her grandma, a year later, passed away as well. But the story doesn't end there, where Haylee then, I guess, moved to be with her boyfriend at the time, then became his fiance. Then I think it was the end of December of 2018, they found out they were pregnant. They were gonna have a gender reveal, announce it to their family. And her best friend wrote to us that night was the last night he told his unborn baby that Haylee was carrying goodnight for the last time. So he passed away that night. I was told that there was no particular reason, they don't know why. And so Haylee now, the happy part of this is that Haylee now has that little girl that she was pregnant with. So to think, being the same age as her, that she went through all of that, we want to come together as a community and support her. And like I said, let her know that she is loved. Her best friend told me that she is the most selfless person and is the one who will always put others first. So we're gonna put Haylee first today for her. So this postcard that we're doing is I'm gonna show you how we're gonna blend the colors with two colors that came in your January box. And I drew Haylee's name here, so you can also do that. I was trying to think of other words to encourage you guys to draw. I mean, hearing her story, I think of strength, I think of hope, I think of grace. There's so many different words that you can think of, and maybe it's just one word so that you can also learn something as well, because this can be good for you too, to learn how to blend. I found out, her friend sent me her Facebook, and her little daughter's name is Finley, which one, I think is a super cute name, but two, I thought it was super cute. This is the card, but Finley is spelled F-I-N-L-E-E. And Haylee's name is spelled super cool. So I thought, I'm sure that was on purpose, and I love that you did that, Haylee, if you're watching this, and I'm thinking of you. So I'm gonna make this one. I made one for you, Haylee, but I'm gonna make this one for Finley, for your daughter. So to create this, all I'm going to use are two supplies. This is a Tombow Dual brush pen. This is the 623, the Purple Sage. And then I'm gonna be using the Twin Tone Sax Blue. There's no number on here, but it's called Sax Blue. So those are just the two pens I'm gonna use to create this whole thing. So, I'm in an okay spot to draw? Okay. If you would like to do this in pencil first, you totally can. So I'm gonna just sketch out Finley's name. And the cool thing about this is that if you have one word, don't focus so much on it being on straight line. If you notice when I wrote this, I kind of have this arch, which is kind of on purpose, kind of not. It just ended up being like that. So however you write the word, don't be hard on yourself and thinking it needs to be perfectly straight. Because remember, this is handmade, and Haylee and Finley and her loved ones are going to feel this. So just remember that, to not be so hard on yourself with that. That's all you have to do for that to start it off. I drew this once, or I drew it in pencil, but I'm gonna just erase it a little bit. I drew it a little bit too dark. And so I do this as a way that I can still see my line underneath, but my pencil line isn't too dark. So I know you guys won't be able to see it as much, but that's just a little trick if you'd like to do that. So now I'm going to take my Tombow Duo brush pen, and I'm using the bigger side. So Tombow Duo brush pens are dual-sided. So there's 2 different sides. I'm going to use the brush pen side for this project. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to really push to get a very thick downstroke. Am I good? Okay. So I'm going to push hard to get a thick down. And then I'm going to go across. So when I say thick on the down, or when you're thinking that to yourself, because the motto is thick on the down, thin on the up, thick on the down, that is talking about the amount of pressure I'm applying. So if you might not be able to tell, but I'm pushing really hard to get that thick stroke. So this is the beauty of brush pens, is that you can dictate how thick your lines are based on the amount of pressure you apply. So I wrote her name out. Then the next step for blending is I'm going to take my Sax Blue, and I'm using, oh, this is also dual-sided, so there's a thinner tip and then there's a bigger bullet tip. I'm going to use the bigger one of those 2. And now I'm going to blend from the bottom. So you can either blend from the top, you can blend from left to right, or even right to left. I'm just going to choose to mimic this one and show you guys how I did that. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this pen and I am drawing, I think of it as blades of grass. So I'm just doing them at different lengths, and the reason why is that I like to have a gradual transition. Rather, if I kind of draw a straight line like that, it might not blend as easily. So by doing the blades of grass, it will allow it to, we'll be able to blend it so it's a more gradual transition. So draw little blades of grass, and you can dictate how the height of your second color. And maybe if you want to be an exact line like that, or it can also have a kind of wave. So it'll look like this one, like it's dipped in the blue. So you can do it like that. Keenan's favorite. One of your
Keenan dip.
Yeah, so again, I'm just drawing wisps. So I'm overlapping, I'm literally drawing on top of my original color. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, take my purple, and now you have the choice. You can either just overlap over this spot like this, or what I actually like to do is to make it a little bit smoother, is I'm going to actually overlap over the entire part of the blue and then take it a little bit further above that and draw the same wispy lines. So you might, if you guys can notice, I'm starting to get a little color on here, so I forgot that I should probably have a guard. If you're like me and that happens to you, it's okay. That's how you can prevent that. A guard meaning just a piece of paper. So it's nothing special or a tool that you can buy. It's just a piece of paper, something to guard against my hand rubbing against the paper. Maybe there's a different term I can use instead of guard, because I know that confused someone one time.
I like guard.
You
guard
like
is good,
okay.
yeah.
So again, I'm just drawing little blades of grass. So I'm taking where the blue is and going a little bit above it. So it's great because these pens, well, I guess both of these brands are made, or both these pens are made by Tombow. But these pens, even though they're two different types of pens, they still can work really great together and create such a really pretty colors. Okay, that's really how you do the transition of it. So what I like to do sometimes is, if you look at this and it looks great just by itself, but if you notice, and can you guys see on Haylee's name, it might be really slight to the eye, but Keenan, can you tell how, especially on the top of the H, can you see the outline that I did? So it's a little darker. So sometimes I like to do that when I want to have emphasis a little bit more, and I don't want to say completes it, but it kind of caps it off. So if you'd like to do the same thing, all I'm doing is taking the other side. So we were using this side. All I'm doing is taking the other side of this, and I'm just going to outline the letters that I did. And even though you can't really see it on the purple part, or the darker blue part, I mean, I'm still going to do it there. So it kind of cleans it up. And
gives you that sharp edge.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, gives you, thank you. I like putting it that way. So I didn't mention earlier, you can do the same technique with whatever style of lettering you'd like to do. So if you're still getting accustomed to the script style of lettering and you'd like to do your block style, you can totally do that. Take the same concept and run with that. There is also, if you like the blending aspect of it, we have a tutorial called Make Your Own Magic, I believe is what it's called. And that is with the Tombow dual brush pens. And there's a few different ways you can blend and learn from that tutorial. So that's a great one. I'll have our girl link that so then you can see that as well. So that's that step. And then the final one that I did for the lettering is, can you also see the really slim line, the really light blue?
See, that's actually what I was thinking you were pointing at initially.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I totally can see that, but now I know.
So there's two things that were kind of a little bit subtle and hidden. So one was the outlining that I did, and then the next one is that thin line. And so I took the other side of this pen, the thinner one of the twin tone pen, and now I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a shadow. So in this case, I decided that my light source is hitting Finley's name. It's casting a shadow on the right side of all of these strokes. So I'm not thinking about pressure when I'm using this pen because it's not a brush pen, it's a regular pen. Oh my God. It's a regular pen. So I'm just drawing a really slight line. So you can decide how the width that you have between your original line, the thicker line, and this thinner line. So you might want to have it where if you, I'll do it just to show you guys. If you do it further away, it will make it look, Keenan, when you look at that, what I see is that it looks like this L is a little bit further away, whereas the F, I, and N are a little bit closer.
I see it as almost three-dimensional.
Yeah, so that's what's creating, like it's,
Yeah.
So that's what shadows are doing, and it makes sense when you look at an object and you see a shadow, it looks more three-dimensional. So if you decide to have a little bit more space, that is great. And that's what the effect is going to create when you do that. So this is a really cool thing, is that these subtle points that you're doing, or these lines that you're creating, have an effect. Okay. That's it for her name. Now, one more magic trick to show you guys is the border of this. So I love doing borders. It just caps off a card. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, this is, if you have our box, our Let's Make Art Matter cards come in this plastic cello sleeve. If you don't have our box and you don't have this, you can just use a, what's that called? Plastic bag, a Ziploc bag. Looking for a specific word, a Ziploc bag, any type of bag. It just, or you could use a plate, a ceramic plate. All you need is a surface that's a little bit slicker and not porous. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm taking the blue in this situation. Can you see that? That's probably easier. So what I'm doing is I'm just drawing a few strokes, kind of a color swash type of thing, directly onto the plastic with the blue, with the twin tone, or any other color that you'd like. I'm gonna grab my Tombow dual brush pen in the purple again. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick up and literally just swoop that color up onto my brush pen. So I'm gonna do that. Maybe I'll spin it a little bit to get the color on both sides. And then what I did was I just grabbed a scratch piece of paper to go underneath it, just in case I don't want to, even though this table has color all over it.
The table's seen some things.
But what I'm going to do is now I'm going to hold my pen more at it's less like you're holding it to write and more at an angle that's parallel to the table. So that way I can use the belly and the wider part of this. And I'm going to, is that okay? My hand's in the way. Just going to push and swipe. Oops. So if you can see that it had a little bit of that blue that I picked up here.
That's cool.
And then it goes back into the original color. So it's okay if it didn't do that perfectly. But I'll show you again. Maybe to save time, I'm gonna get myself set up 3 different times. So again, I'm gonna pick up this color, move this, and I'm just pushing. So can you guys, oh, that's so pretty, that subtleness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I do it one more time, and then you'll see by the time we get to this end, it goes back to the original purple. So it's really subtle, and that's why I love this. So you can do this with any of the colors. I feel like I just realized I held my breath in a way of like, and then push. It's like an inhale and an exhale.
Does that help you?
I don't know. But I realized I did that and I had to say it out loud. Okay, see how cool that looks, guys? So it's super subtle, but I love that part of it. And maybe, I don't know their last name at the moment, but I was gonna say maybe I'll draw something here, or I actually just like it like that. But if you have any empty spots that you, when you're done and you take a step back, maybe draw some hearts if you feel like you want to fill in some space. But that's it. So like I said, take a word that you would like to write. You can either write her name is Haylee, who the recipient is. Her daughter's name is Finley. Again, her best friend nominated her as our recipient for the Let's Make Art Matter for January. If you're a lettering subscriber, you have this card and a postcard that already is addressed and stamped. And if you don't have that, you can email our team at hello@letsmakeart.com if you'd like to join along. You don't have to be a subscriber. We actually love to do this as a community for across all 3 mediums. So I hope you cherish time with your loved ones. All of these things remind me of things of that, and the power in making something handmade. That's the reason why I love lettering and love doing art in general, is that it warms me up to think of Haylee receiving this and for the entire community to join along and support her and feel this big hug. So hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next week.